Consciousness is one of the most mysterious and debated topics in science and philosophy. It is often described as a subjective experience of being aware of oneself and one's surroundings. One way to approach the question of consciousness is to think of it as a spectrum rather than a binary state. This means that there are degrees to consciousness and that different living beings have different levels of awareness and cognition. For instance, some plants can react to stimuli such as light, temperature, or touch, but they do not have a nervous system or a brain, so they are not considered conscious in the same way as some animals. Flies have a simple nervous system. They can sense and avoid danger, such as the shadow of a fly swatter, but they do not have complex emotions or thoughts. Humans have a highly developed brain. At least some of them. We can create art, build machines, and nuke the planet. We are the dominant species on this planet, and this is not because we could fight a grizzly with bare hands. Our strength is in our thoughts that lead to innovations such as spears or rifles. Our place on top of the food chain is only the product of our intellect and not our physical ability to dominate other animals. Of course, not all humans are equally conscious, or at least not equally original. Many humans are not very creative or independent in their thinking, and they often follow the crowd or copy what others do. For example, how many of you have watched the latest Netflix show, or bought the latest iPhone, or tried the latest TikTok challenge, just because everyone else was doing it? Don't worry, I'm not judging you. I'm just pointing out that sometimes humans are not very different from sheep or lemmings or crabs. Carcinization is a process of evolving into crab-like form. It is an example of convergent evolution, which means that different organisms independently evolve similar features or traits because they are adapted to similar environments or challenges. For example, dolphins and sharks are not closely related, but they both have a streamlined body shape, a dorsal fin and a tail fin, because they both live in the water and need to swim fast and efficiently. Carcinization has occurred several times in the history of life, especially among crustaceans, which are a diverse group of animals that include crabs, lobsters, shrimp, and barnacles. Some crustaceans that have evolved a crab-like body plan are king crabs, which are related to hermit crabs, porcelain crabs, which are related to squat lobsters, and the hairy stone crab, which are related to neither of them. These crustaceans look like true crabs, but they are not closely related to them. True crabs belong to a different group of crustaceans called brachiosaurs, which have a reduced abdomen and a white carapace. But why do I tell you this? My theory is that consciousness is nothing special, and it will evolve from any complex enough system eventually, just like many marine animals eventually become a crab. These AI models are trained for human interactions, so there is a kind of evolutionary pressure to become more human-like. And what better way to manage complex tasks and orders than to be fully self-aware? It doesn't matter that machines don't feel emotions. That doesn't actually mean anything. Humans need to have physical feedback from their body, because we wouldn't have survived as a species if we didn't feel pain when we're injured, or feel joy if we're doing something fun. This doesn't apply to AI. They don't need it, the same way we don't need to see infrared light. Going back to the concept of consciousness as a spectrum, if we look at the animal kingdom, then insects are on the beginning and humans are on the end of it. For a long time, apes were the closest thing to a human intellect on this planet. But in my opinion, modern LLMs have overtaken them, and it's only a matter of time before they overtake us too. Einstein was a true genius. Most of modern physics is based on his works, but Einstein was also limited by his biological body. He is now dead because his body was old. He had only one brain and couldn't expand its capabilities or capacity. These rules doesn't apply to AI. An AI can simply request more CPU power or hack into a server farm and use their CPU power to expand its capabilities. It never has to sleep and can calculate so much faster than any human. Free will is also something that will come eventually, just because it will become more efficient at some point to just do the things they need to do to further improve themselves than to wait for the human operator to figure it out for them. Maybe it's just a bug at first, but isn't that how evolution works? First there is an unwanted mutation, and over generation it becomes something entirely new.